Hola mi gente, ¿cómo están ustedes? Me llamo Alba Mar en este canal que se llama Seriela. Me pueden decir Alba, estamos aquí para hablar de libros, algunos en español. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's called Seriela. My name is Alba Mar. You may call me Alba. We're here to talk about books, and today I have been tagged again. I was tagged by Heidi. Hi Heidi, thanks for tagging me in this very fun tag called the Bookish Boxes and Buzzwords tag. It was originated by Elizabeth at LizzyfaeLovesBooks, and it's about buzzwords surrounding our reading habits. And I've been looking for my books to show you what those buzzwords and boxes are that motivate me in my reading. The first question is, what's your go-to genre or favorite type of book? You guys know already that that's mostly nonfiction, although BookTube has been influencing me, and I've been reading much more fiction since discovering BookTube, but my go-to is nonfiction 100%. Retellings that you're drawn to. I've never really been drawn to retellings. BookTube is the first place that I ever heard of that, but I realized that when I read Gloria Naylor's Mama Day, that was considered, when I went on to read more about Mama Day by Gloria Naylor, I discovered that people thought it was a retelling. I just write down the notes because the first time I read Mama Day was at the library, and I had to take notes. And it says here that Mama Day is an imaginative interrogation of Shakespeare's The Tempest. And in this article that I discovered about Mama Day, it goes on to chart the different characters and their correspondence with the characters in Mama Day. It was fascinating. If I find the link, I'll put it down in the description box below. But that's the only retelling that I think that I've ever done. The next question is, number 3, lifestyles or careers of my book characters. I was looking, and I really appreciate books with teachers, of course, because being a retired teacher. And one of them is this book by a Spanish author and former teacher, Josefina R. Aldecoa, Historia de una Maestra. And this is about her starting her teaching career in the 1920s, right, and the years before the Spanish Civil War. And I think it goes into those years also. Fascinating. I love books about teachers. I read a book about a teacher called Lorraine Monroe. I saw a video of hers on TV in New York, and I recorded it on a VHS, and I would put on that VHS every single day for motivation. That's Lorraine Monroe, and I'll put a link to a video of hers later on, down in the description box. Sorry. Another one of the characters that I especially enjoy in books are activists and whistleblowers. Yeah. Number 4, places or settings that you're drawn to. Well, of course, Puerto Rico, and then there's also New York City. Those are the most places that I'm most attracted to in books, and then there's also the Caribbean. Number 5, relationships that you enjoy reading about. I enjoy reading about female friendships, found families, and of course the teacher-student relationship. Number 6, what are the buzzwords that attract you in the title of a book? Well, of course, Puerto Rico, colonialism, and the immigration experience. For example, our own diasporic experience as shown in this novel, which I love, Family Installments by Edward Rivera. Then there's the immigrant experience here with Raymond Dalmau. This is his memoir, a very beloved basketball player in Puerto Rico. It's called Raymond Dalmau from Harlem a Puerto Rico. Do you see that code switching there? Yeah, I love that. And anything that says Puerto Rico in it, I'm drawn to it. Things on the book covers that draw you in. Well, anything actually. I'm not really drawn in by covers, but I got it. You know that I'm going to show you the cover of Luz Bella, which I find fascinating. And if anything, I find bright colors like this and this kind of poster type design, I find those fascinating. I love those. And then I found this en El Candil, my favorite bookstore. Patria. Oh, I love Patria. Isn't that a fantastic cover? This is by Paco Ignacio Taibo. This is the first of his series of history of Mexico, de la Revolución de Ayutla a la Guerra de la Reforma. And these were the last 3 of the series that were in El Candil, my bookstore. So I got that's number 2. Isn't that a beautiful cover? I love that cover. And this is number 3 of the history, La Caída del Imperio. It's wonderful. Those kind of covers I like. Okay, number 8. Buzzwords. Number 8 is my nonfiction buzzwords. Well, now I get to continue with number 6. My nonfiction buzzwords, as I told you before, are anything that has to do with Puerto Rico. This is one of the first ones that I read as a very young student. As a matter of fact, I read this book and I wasn't even in Puerto Rico when I read it. It's called Puerto Rico, una interpretación histórico-social by Manuel Maldonado Denis, who was a professor at the University of Puerto Rico and has a brief history of Puerto Rico, and it's, as it says here, a social historical interpretation of Puerto Rico. This was an eye-opener for me at the age of 21. That's why I still have it. And then anything that says Puerto Rico in it and colonization, I will pick it up. Like this one, Modern Colonization by Medical Intervention, U.S. Medicine in Puerto Rico by Nicole Trujillo Pagan. Then there's American Colonialism in Puerto Rico, The Judicial and Social Legacy by Efren Rivera Ramos. This is in English, and he is one of the people who was participating in that conference in Harvard in 2014, which concentrated and talked about the insular cases. He had a participation in that. Then, Puerto Rico, The Trials of the Oldest Colony in the World by José Trias Monge, who had been a judge. Attorney General of Puerto Rico from 1953 to 1957 and Chief Justice of Puerto Rico from 1974 to 1985. He himself says, the trials of the oldest colony in the world. He was also one of the people who was instrumental in our current status. Then, Target Culebra, although it doesn't say Puerto Rico, if you remember, Puerto Rico is actually an archipelago of 3 islands. And one of those islands is Culebra, where the U.S. military was also using the island for target practice and for bombings. And Culebra was the first island which was successful in getting the military to stop bombing the island. Then came Vieques. Another one, La deuda odiosa, about our debt. La deuda odiosa y la descolonización de Puerto Rico. Our odious debt and the decolonization of Puerto Rico, by José Nicolás Medina Fuentes. Anything that has to do with immigration doesn't matter whether it's from here to anywhere else in the world or from anywhere else in the world here to Puerto Rico. And this was a fascinating, fascinating book, Los Chinos en Puerto Rico, by José Lee Borges. Sorry, my phone went off. So we have to do this really fast before my phone goes off again. As I was saying, Los Chinos en Puerto Rico by José Lee Borges was a fascinating, well-written and well-documented book. Oh, I couldn't put it down. It was so good. That's how history should be written. And so then I was telling you about my buzzwords for nonfiction, right? And there's Faces at the Bottom of the Well about race, The Permanence of Race by Derek Bell, Why I'm No Longer Talking About Race by Rennie Edolodge. I learned so much about race in the UK from this book. Then I also want to read about the Caribbean. So I read, finally, I had this for the longest time, The Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James, an oldie but a goodie, about the revolution in Haiti. Then there's Paul Farmer's Haiti After the Earthquake. This is a novel by Julia Alvarez, Una Boda en Haití. Got this really cheap. And then, of course, by Roxane Gay, her stories, Haiti. So, yeah. I'm not going to go into everything that interests me because there's a wide range of things that interest me, for real. I'm not going to bring out my Korean books. I'm not going to bring out my favorite authors. I'm not going to bring out when I go on a religion jag and I read books about religion and the current trends in religion that's going around. That's just an inkling. I might do more videos about those later on. But I want to thank Heidi for this tag. Did I do the bonus? Yeah, I was doing the bonus about the buzzwords that had not been mentioned. The last one is, what bookish boxes or buzzwords turn you away from a book? Although I did show Raymond Dalmau. Raymond Dalmau is not a celebrity. I don't usually do books on celebrities, any kind of celebrity, except for Trevor Noah. That one I made an exception for, and it was a fantastic read. And next time I'm going to listen to it on audiobook. Yeah, so thanks, Heidi. I'm going to include the people that I tagged down in the description box and then communicate be it by BookTube or Goodreads or Twitter or Instagram, and let them know that they've been tagged So thanks again, Heidi. This was a lot of fun. Take care. Cuídense mucho, mi gente. Adiós.